success, okay? About actors' success. And get this and really burn it into your mind. It's not the big salary you get. It's called surviving attrition. What do I mean by that? Surviving attrition. Being able to work in your craft for almost the entire length of your life. Now, there's a lot of people who came, they made money and left. But my world is a world that is, it's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It is my way of life. It's who I am. It's my way of, you know, to sound rather pretentious, and I don't mean to, the great Russian acting teacher wrote a book called My Life in Art. It's my life in art. It's all I know, it's all I want to know. And therefore, consequently, I surround myself with camera people and directors and writers and producers and painters and dancers. And I'm in the performing arts forever. I've signed on for the whole ride. It's a way of life. So if you can survive attrition in particularly the film industry or in the craft itself, then you're a success. I've been very fortunate to work at my craft for 40 plus years. 40 plus years. I can tell you people that have come, made big dollars, gone, I don't know where they are. Or people that said, I'm going to go and try this thing out for 2 years. If it doesn't work, I'll go back to MIT or the law school or join the police department. That's not what it is. It's a way, it's a way of life. Premonition is a parapsychological horror thriller. You know, what is interesting about the Premonition, and I just reviewed it for the first time in many years, and ironically, as an actor, you can look back on your body of work and say, wow, wait a minute, man, this is not half bad, is that there was some really, it's a well-scripted little script. It's well-structured as far as a horror genre kind of movie, you know, a horror thriller, etc. And I have to give a lot of credit to Robert Schnitzer. You know, he had a vision about the movie, and I was a very young actor at the time, and I took his direction. Was I influenced by anything? My entire life is influenced. As an actor, everything I do is influenced by many, you know, Rififi, the great French classic, Rififi, Psycho, by, you know, there's just so many film. You know, we watch film, and it's so impressionable that we start to, you know, as young actors at that time, become very impressed about, you know, approaching characters. So I had to approach it, you know, in the way, you know, that you know, that I could at the time. My whole environment was the New York theater community. And at that time, of course, every young actor wanted to be a movie star. They all think about that. But what really gets you is the craft. It can really catch you. And I never was in competition with any other actor but myself. I always wanted the best myself on each production. And live theater is so, I mean, it's such a wonderful thing. So you know, I attended school. I went through all of the process. I got a great theatrical history. How did I make a transition between legitimate stage and film? I came very naturally in a strange kind of way, because all I knew was stage work. That's what I was about. And then, but I was very smart and very quick. like young actors are. And I was cast in a daytime soap, very short-lived. I believe the producer was, oh God, what was his name? Joe Hardy. Joe Hardy, who produced later on the Children's Hour on Broadway. Wonderful man, sweet man. Cast me as the lead in one of the daytime soap. Anyway, during working in a 3-camera deal, you start to learn about camera. It's a very technical medium film. All of a sudden, your craft starts to hone down to another whole bag. You know, stage is an actor's medium. I mean, you know this, and film is a director's medium for the most part. But when that camera's on that actor, he better know what he's doing. Everything is knocked down about 75%. You gotta know, you gotta understand. It becomes very technical and yet very artistic at the same time. And doing this kind of silly little soap I did in New York for about 6, 7 months, 8 months, a year, I started to learn camera. And then during my theater career, I had the good fortune of hooking up with Al Pacino, who at the time was a hot item. He was on his move. Wonderful actor. He knew about me, and we kind of hung with each other for a while, and asked me to do a movie with him after he got discovered as Michael Corleone in The Godfather. And so I did the next movie he was going to do with Gene Hackman, who just won the Academy Award for French Connection. That's where I made my film debut. Gene Hackman and Pacino in a film called Scarecrow. A little kind of sleeper. You know, when I made my film debut opposite Al Pacino and Gene Hackman in The Scarecrow, I made a film debut. I'm an actor who's trying to, you know, get his own thing going, you know, and I had a family, and so I took the part, and I played the part to the best of my ability, and I would like to believe, according to the reviews, that I did very well. And at that time, now, this is interesting what I'm going to have to say. In a very unforgiving kind of profession, the next job they offered me was also the antagonist, and I had a responsibility. I have a child, little baby, and I took that. By the third time, you know, it's the old story: 3 times, and that's what you are. So I was pretty well nailed as the heavy, in a lot of ways. And if I wanted to continue working at what I love, particularly in film, I was going to be offered a lot of the heavy parts. Now we're going to get up to Danielle Brisbois, who, by the way, very incidentally, later on ended up to be Archie Bunker's granddaughter in All in the Family. Do you know that? And developed into a beautiful young lady, a wonderful little actress. Of course, I knew her as a baby. I knew her mom. I'm a father. You know, I'm a straight up guy. Yeah, it was not easy to play. You know, the ominous threat to a child. But it was part of the script, and I took that on in a responsible way. And she was wonderful. She was a wonderful young actress. She probably is a wonderful actress today. I don't know what happened with her, but it's sensitive. You got to be able to disassociate yourself from who you really are and play the part as an actor. And that was.
I want no one to know about it. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But the girl is not well.
Yeah, I'll take care of her.
I don't believe there was any specific inspiration for the character. Just that I understand human nature enough, and the material appealed to me. And obviously the part of Jude in The Premonition is a very extreme character. The character of Jude in The Premonition is basically a photographer in a carnival. He's a carny. And I'm not going to take credit for that. I'm going to give it to Bob Schnitzer, I believe that he wrote into the script along with his partner, I think it's Tony Mahan, uh, that he has this moment, my character, where he's loosening up or whatever it might be, because there's a wonderful shot in the movie where he drifts down and looks between his legs and discovers her, Ellen Barber, who plays Andrea. How did I feel about playing a mime? I as a young actor, was very, I was very available to all forms of dramatic expression, shall we say. I was like a sponge. I wanted to know it all, and I was very impressed with Marcel Marceau of the French mime, and I approached it to the best I could. But I mean, he was a superb mime at that time. The character of Jude is basically written in the script as a photographer. He's a photographer and he's a carny. He's a simple carny dressed up as a clown who takes, children or parents' pictures and. I don't understand the whole Hollywood system, even though I've lived here so many years, because I came out here well oiled and well loaded. They called me. I came out here in the days when they flew actors out. They flew me many times. The major studios flew me from New York out here. Of course, it always sounds rather pretentious, but it's the truth. I'm an actor coming from theatrical roots. And got lucky in meeting Al Pacino and a few of my colleagues and getting in a couple of movies. And next thing you know, I have a movie career. Catch as catch can, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Young actors, I think, should learn their craft, learn to love their craft, see if they want to have that life, because it's a lifestyle. My life, it's my life. I'm not going to become a lawyer. I'm not going to become a doctor. I'm not going into the stock market. I mean, it's my life. And in that life, there are just so many ramifications. I mean, it's a commitment. I've become very secure in my insecurity. Life of an actor is terribly insecure because you never know where the next job comes from. You could bottom out and game over, And but if it's a life that you love, then you love the work, you love the acting, then you will find your way to whatever is necessary. He was a very early on, what we call an early on independent filmmaker. Early on, where the majors still had a major grasp on world market. And you got to give the guy credit. I mean, he really, it is a well-scripted story, The Premonition, and it's wonderfully lit and shot. And, I looked at the damn thing and I went, wait a minute. It's just some terrific stuff, even with flares and the lenses that camera people understand. It all works dramatically in a strange kind of way. The movie is made for very little money, obviously. But Bob, I got on real well with Bob. I thought he was a very creative guy. And we went at the project, and I approached it as an actor, and he gave me a lot of leeway. We have to keep in mind when it was made, there was a lot of interest in parapsychology, incidentally, in that era or that time. Because we're going to reach back about 30 years now. But if you look at it, I mean, I could tell you scenes that man lit with flashlights, and I think back about the early days of Francois Truffaut, And those, you know, early filmmaking, where they're working with, you know, really short money. And their dollars were baby carriages. They'd have a guy sitting in a baby carriage with a camera, you know, and Bob was very creative in that way. And when I look back at the whole effort of the movie, which is the lighting, the sound, as well we know as filmmakers, it all has to come together. The script, the talent, the camera, the lighting, the sound, the edit. I mean, it's a joint project. It's a whole commitment in order to really, you know, produce a product that is a work of art. I like Premonition. I like what went down in Premonition.